Items to grab during evacuation. My watch collection. Last level Silver Surfer statue. Muhammad Ali glove. Beer. Oh shit. Family. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey guys, welcome to the Extreme channel. Unfortunately, today's premise of the video was spawned by something that was very unfortunate. If you live in the world, especially in the year 2020 or later, you know that it's been a very tough time on so many different levels. Obviously, not only political unrest worldwide, a deadly pandemic, it seems of recent, and not just the last few years, but the last few decades, that natural catastrophes are getting worse and worse. Now, most recently here in the States, two things hit very close to home for me. One was deadly tornadoes in the US. I actually have family members that live in Mayfield, Kentucky. As you can see, entire towns were wiped out. And then within 15 miles of my house, actually, these deadly wildfires sparked up. 4 hours later, destroyed thousands of homes. Now, while this was actually going on and they still haven't determined the cause of the fire, this fire was spreading so quickly that they were evacuating multiple towns all around the area. Now, thankfully, while my home was only about 15 miles away, we did not have to evacuate and nothing was affected. However, I do have at least one friend who lost their home and all of their belongings. So please say your prayers for all those people that have been affected by these natural disasters, because it is clearly not easy. However, with this fire being only 15 miles away from us, Mrs. X and I really thought about what do we need to do if we have to evacuate. Now, if you're new to the channel, I own quite a few collectibles. And we're not talking about $200-$300. But honestly, when you include assets besides the collectibles, not even including the home we live in, it's probably 7 figures. We really had to get a game plan together on what are we going to do if we have to evacuate? What are we going to take with us? And that's what this video is about, is how to prepare for a natural disaster with collectibles, or honestly, just what valuables you would have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through what we went through and what we did to prepare in case that happened and what we've always done in case something of that nature happens. So the first thing we did when we knew this fire was coming, and honestly it was raining ash outside, so we knew that it was definitely a possibility it would come to us, although we weren't in immediate danger, is I took out my iPhone and I did a quick inventory of everything. And we're not just talking about the collectibles behind me, which includes statues and autographed memorabilia, but we looked at furniture and jewelry boxes. It probably took me about an hour. And while I wasn't 100% detailed, I just wanted to make sure there was some type of video evidence for those things. Now, I'm actually fortunate because I have a YouTube channel and I do a lot of different videos and room tours. So a lot of that stuff is already uploaded in the cloud and will be there forever in case I need evidence. Now, the reason that's so important is because we are heavily insured. Obviously, not only for homeowners insurance, but I have separate collectible insurance that covers all of my collectibles. I've actually talked about it in this video right here. You can check it out. This is about the broken pieces that I received, because my collectible insurance not only covers broken pieces, but it also covers natural disasters, and it does have a cap depending on the type of natural disaster and what's going on. Then my wife and I, we also have separate insurance policies for some of our really high-end stuff. And mainly, to be honest with you, that is jewelry. Mrs. X is very low maintenance, except for 3 things. Number 1, she wants a nice house because she spends a lot of time in it. Number 2, she wants a nice vehicle. And number 3, she likes shiny and sparkly things. And believe it or not, I'm also a watch collector, so I have quite a few valuable watches. Although I never wear any of them because my entire family has Apple watches, so they just sit there collecting dust. But our insurance company already has documentation of most of the high-end collectibles, high-end jewelry, things of that nature, because we had to submit that when they originally got insured. So that was the first step, is we made a quick video on everything that we have. Now, this is a good practice for you to do annually just in case something like this happens. Because, for example, the wildfires near where I live, they did not have an hour notice. They had about 20 minutes to get out of their home. Then you can upload this to some type of cloud or sharing service, even a YouTube channel that's not made public, so you have documentation of all this. So that is kind of step number one. If you have a lot of valuables in your home, whether they're high-end collectibles, jewelry, or maybe something else, go ahead and make a video diary of that, so to say, at least once a year, especially if what you have evolves quite often. So the next step is what you saw me doing at the intro of the video. We literally made a list of what we would grab. Now, as we started to make this list, we decided, you know what, we need to clear out our vehicles, make sure we have room for all this stuff. And thankfully, we both have larger four-wheel drive vehicles, so we would have a lot of room to pack stuff up. And we even went to as far as we took our vehicles and actually turned them around in our driveway. The truck bed and rear of the vehicle would be easy loading. Now, this is when we knew that a threat was very imminent. Now, fortunately, like I said, we have two vehicles with lots of storage space. So we even decided if we're going to take valuables, where are we going to take those valuables? That's something you have to physically figure out and put in a plan. Our plan was to take them to my office, which is about 30 minutes away, because it was in the opposite direction of the current danger. Now, depending how much time we had to evacuate, we would take multiple trips there to get as much stuff as possible. However, that's kind of hard to plan in advance because you never know where the threat is going to come from. If it's an earthquake that shakes your entire city, you might be SOL. And tornadoes are very unpredictable, and if you live near water, hurricanes can wipe out everything. So that was step number 2. We actually got our vehicles prepped to get as many things as we could inside of them. Step number 3 was to decide what items we would take with us. And I'm going to come back to something that Mrs. X and I discussed before we got into this whole list. That's going to be at the end of the video. So what we decided is, obviously, I have a lot of high-end collectible statues, and many of them are extremely unique. Some are 1 out of 1. They're the only ones in the world that exist. Some have value that have absolutely shot through the roof. For example, maybe I bought it for $2,000 and now it's worth $5,000 or $10,000. The problem with that is you have to repackage these statues so they won't get damaged in the original packaging. Well, not only is that very time-consuming, but also for me, I don't keep any of the boxes here. So it really wasn't an option. However, there are a few statues that I probably have that insurance probably wouldn't cover the increase in value they've had. So their value is appreciated, not necessarily $100 or $200, but like I said, maybe up to $5,000. So we got some empty boxes ready for those. But we made a list of what we would actually physically take, what would be the easiest. When it comes to statues, honestly, we were hoping to maybe get 1 or 2 of these out of here. And again, they were the very unique ones or ones that have gone up incredibly in value that we don't think insurance would have covered the new value. And this is especially true with a lot of the custom statues or the unlicensed ones. However, we really gravitated to a lot of the autographed memorabilia. I have a few videos on all the autographed stuff I have. That's probably valued as high as my statue collection, honestly. So we decided right away we would take the stuff of the people who are no longer living. That would be the number 1 priority. Whether it's a Michael Jackson signed guitar, Muhammad Ali glove, Walter Payton jersey, and then just some stuff we fucking love, like the Michael Jordan signed jersey and the 2015 Broncos Super Bowl autographs. And, you know, for those, they don't take up a lot of room in our vehicles. So we just narrowed it down as what is truly irreplaceable. The next thing we decided is we would grab all of the pictures off the wall. Not all of these were from the age of technology where we had digital prints, which I'm going to get to in a second. So we even planned like the children would grab the pictures off the wall. Many are from vacations that were professional photos we paid for that we don't have in a digital format. And again, we got an empty box and decided they would actually go in there. Now, another thing we do on a regular basis is Mrs. X actually keeps up with all of our photos. So all of our children are now in their 2nd decade of life. So we have tons of photos, especially from the digital age. Mrs. X actually keeps those up on a hard drive. So that hard drive is something that we would definitely grab and put as well because we know photos are irreplaceable. So that was another thing that was big on our list. The next one I kind of alluded to earlier, the jewelry. Our jewelry is probably worth more than our vehicles put together. And most of them are kept in very secure places because we don't bring them out all the time. The other thing we decided to grab was our electronics. Now, we're not doing this because of the value of the electronics. However, there's much professional stuff on our electronics. And this was just me and Mrs. X. We couldn't give a shit about the kids' electronics. But from tablets to iPads, phones, and of course computers, simply for the fact that we have so much business-related information on here that we would need to keep it. It had nothing to do with the value of the actual electronic. So for example, the camera I'm using in front of me, I would not have taken. However, the iMac right next to me, I would have done my best to pack it up. And really, that was it. We came down to it. Any collectible statues we could, maybe one or two. Some irreplaceable autographed memorabilia, jewelry, things related to business that had valuable information on them, and pictures. But I wasn't kidding about the beer. I told her we need to take the beer with us, so as I watched my house burn down on the news, I could at least be okay with it. That is all we really needed, because that brings me into the last segment of this video. We saw people interviewed on the news that just lost everything they had with almost no warning. And these were people that were genuine, and you could see how devastated they were. Now, I would be devastated as well. I'm not going to put up a front. I would probably shed some tears. However, we were very comfortable with the fact that, you know what, if we lost everything, we lost everything as long as we had the 5 of us in our family. I mean, it doesn't hurt that we have very valuable insurance policies as well, and we could actually start off incredibly strong. But where we live, we've actually been for 10 years, and we had 4 other homes before that we stayed in for less than 2 years in each one. We've really grown attached to not only where we live, but the things within our home. But as much as I love the art that's around me, my wife and I come from very humble beginnings, and we try to stay true to that as much as possible, and we still know what's important in life. Like I said, while it will clearly be devastating if we lost all of our physical assets, whether it's to a natural disaster or I start playing poker again regularly, I'm just kidding. I was the fucking bomb at Texas Hold'em. I did it for like 6 years. They are physical things, and that is not what's important in life. People and relationships are what's important. And I don't want to minimize any devastation for people that have lost their valuables or their homes in natural disasters or other ways. That is a horrible thing to happen. And it is very difficult to get through. But at the end of the day, all of this stuff is just stuff. One of the questions I'm asked most often is, why don't you freak out more when stuff arrives broken? Because it's stuff. It's not important. I'm still here, I'm still breathing, until I welcome the sweet release of death. But with that being said, it doesn't hurt to have a plan in case shit happens. So that's what I wanted to make this video about. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found it informative. Let me know in the comments below if you have something in place like this, or if you've ever thought about it, because we're still doing a statue giveaway with everything that's going on. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Again, thanks for tuning in, guys. Very different video. Again, please send your prayers. There's a lot of places to donate as well. To any natural disaster, I highly recommend Red Cross. That's who I donate to quite often. So the link for them is in the description below. It has nothing to do with the Extreme channel. In the meantime, please take care. I'll talk to you soon.